Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick butt show called Steve and Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. AEW New Year's Smash. Night two is in the books. And Darby Allin has successfully defended his TNT championship.
Oh, man, he got beat up.
Oh, it was a pretty fun match. Yeah, it was just a whole lot of him. Match. I mean, it's sort of a typical Darby Allin match. He gets beat. He really likes being the guy who gets beat up a lot, and then finds a creative way.
And then kicking out at one.
And then kicking out at one. Finding creative ways. You know, he tied the belt around Cage's ankles. To confound him a little bit. To confuse him a little bit. Didn't really last that long, but you know. So, yeah, there was some fun stuff. And then, of course, a man called Sting helped him out, to fend off some interference attempts from Ricky Starks, who had, the best pants I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, those pants were something else. They were something else, man.
Oh, my
They were great.
gosh.
Great.
Sharp dresser, that guy.
Yeah, he's a snazzy dresser.
Mm-hmm. Darby Allin thwarts Team Taz's attempt to get his TNT title off him. As far as, storyline progression... I mean,
Nothing huge.
To be honest with you, New Year's Smash, you think it's going to be oh man, it's a pay-per-view event, because every time they do a themed episode, it has pay-per-view level stuff going on. This not so much. Not a lot of movement.
I mean, I guess
the main event was fun enough.
Yeah, the main event was fun. I guess the one kind of swerve that happened is, so of course they announced in advance that the Elite would be wrestling. It was fairly conspicuous. They would always use the logo of the Elite, not actually, PNGs of Kenny and the Young Bucks for the graphic. And sure enough, right before their match, Don Callis, Kenny, and the Young Bucks are all hanging out backstage. And the Young Bucks are asking, hey, are we going to do the Elite entrance? And Kenny's like, oh, yeah, let's do that. And Callis is like, hold on. I love your entrance, Young Bucks. I love the song. You're the tag champions. You should have your own entrance. So Kenny and Don make their way out. Don grabs the mic. He's setting up like he's introduced the Young Bucks. Instead, he introduces the Good Brothers.
The Deviled Eggs.
They didn't play that. They are Kenny's tag partners, not the Young Bucks. They're sad about it backstage with Tony Khan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although, all the shit talking that Tony Khan has been doing during those paid advertisements on Impact, kind of feel like he might have had this one coming, man. It was the Super Elite team of Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers taking on what was the name? Kenny Limelight?
Danny Limelight, Griff Garrison, and Pillman Jr. Yeah, Varsity Blondes and Danny Limelight.
There you go. But otherwise, fun episode. I actually really liked the Inner Circle stuff. I thought was pretty fun, and I love that they brought up the idea that Jericho is just willy-nilly with his tag teams.
Yeah, I like that.
And they're going to decide next week the official tag team of the Inner Circle. It's a really great little sort of subversion of the concept of a faction where there always has to be a tag team. And in this case, it's just a musical chairs of tag teams, even though they have a world-class tag team already there, LAX. That was good stuff. So I don't know, man. I mean, unless you have anything to add, we can just hop right into this.
Well, I'll just mention this. I guess I can wait till when it happens. The waiting room with Britt Baker's first time it's been on Dynamite, and it was all right.
Yeah.
Up until the end, when the production aspect got kind of clunky.
Okay.
Once they threw to Britt's the shot. I don't know how long ago when Britt laid out Thunder Rosa and poured the water on her face. It was weeks ago, but there was no segue to it.
Yeah, I sort of turned around and then I came back and I was like, wait, why are they playing this now?
And then they went from that. They did one quick shot back into the arena of that playing on the screen, which is probably how they should have introduced it. And then it was back to that. And then it went to a hard cut to Thunder Rosa Matt Chat question essentially, which is also really jarring. There's obviously some production parts of it that seem like that need to be worked out.
Was the audio weird at the beginning of the episode for you, or it might have been the TNT app? The TNT app is just the biggest piece of crap.
It's not great. No, I was watching it on through TNTdrama.com on my laptop here. So
was it pretty? Was it pretty? Oh, it was pretty solid there.
I didn't notice anything.
God, the app is terrible on Fire Stick.
Yeah, I've had issues with the app on various devices.
I should probably just do that. I should probably just port it to my Chromecast. Anyways, so it kicked off with Pac taking on Eddie Kingston. This is a fun match. There's a lot of back and forth to kick things off. They do just sort of a textbook superplex at one point, and it was perfectly executed. But the way Eddie Kingston sold it, Eddie Kingston's not the physical specimen that Pac is, or 90% of the roster are really. He sold it like he legitimately threw out both his hips and his back.
Well, his hips, his back, and his shoulder.
Yeah, it looked like it hurt like hell, and I'm like, that would probably be my reaction to a. Yeah,
it would be, but your shoot reaction to a superplex. Would
I wouldn't get up from. I wouldn't put in another 10 minutes of match after that.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be like, done.
I'm good. Shouldn't have done that in the first place. I'm sure who convinced me to do that.
Before the match, Eddie had a promo. It was pretty short. He just said, "I'm gonna bust up the bastard." Then he's gonna go back home and he's never coming back. Pac took it to Eddie immediately, right as the bell rang. Hits corkscrew tope, tosses Eddie into the barricade, has control for a while. Eventually, as you mentioned, Eddie turns tables, and then eventually, Pac hits that superplex. Where was that? My note. It's somewhere in here. Whatever. Pac won with a black arrow. And so as soon as the pinfall's counted, Pac just puts Eddie right in the brutalizer. Not waiting. Butchered the blade, hit the ring. Lucha Brothers come getting there too. There's a stare down. Archer comes out.
Friendly Archer.
So Butcher and the Blade leave, and then he just gets in Pac's face and starts barking at him, talking crap, and then he just leaves.
Well, it's funny because he was talking crap, but he was saying we need to get on the same page, which is a funny thing to demand from a person. Hey, we need to cooperate, or else there's going to be, or he said, or else there's going to be hell to pay. Which is an interesting motivation for a feud or alliance or both. I'm not entirely sure what this is.
Is the Death Triangle going to add an extra vertice and become a Death Square?
Be a Death Square at that point, yeah. Yeah.
Or Death Rectangle. Or Trapezoid.
Yeah.
Or Rhombus.
Which one's the rhombus?
Parallelogram.
Is that
it's like a diamond shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Parallelogram.
Rhombus sounds great.
Death Rhombus. Am I forgetting any other four-sided shapes?
Oh, I don't know. I think that's probably it. I don't know. A death. What are those? What do they call those things that show up in the middle of nowhere, like from 2001?
A monolith.
Yeah, death monolith. That's cool. The monolith.
That's monolith. Cool. That's good.
Yeah.
I guess in theory, a monolith could be any shape, right?
Wouldn't that be rad if they win a match, the lights go down, they come up, and there's a monolith there,
but they're gone? Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be really good.
And you just hear this loud chorus.
Yeah. That thus spoke, whatever that song's called.
The Tron shows some apes throwing bones around and stuff.
One throws up in the air. Now it's a spaceship. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, after that we had Chuck Taylor versus. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's right. Chuck Taylor versus Miro.
Yeah.
We kind of do it. Why this? I appreciate the Seinfeld reference. The whole if Chuck loses, he has to be Miro's butler. But why didn't they just follow through with the young boy thing?
Young boy thing is way funnier because the term young boy is hilarious. Nebon is hilarious. Say what you will about Hulk Hogan. That time he got the burn on Nakamura by saying, you're not Ichiban, you're Nebon, young boy, was the funniest thing he's ever done. It was a sick burn to a guy who knew the only guy in the company that would really take it hard. Shinsuke Nakamura. That was great. So as we predicted, Chuck Taylor came out with way too much strength here. He was throwing Miro around like he was nothing. And it's okay, immediately, he's totally gonna. And it wasn't even that long of a match. This is probably the shortest match on the card.
It's like 5 minutes, yeah.
And so Chuck starts out strong, but he ends up tapping out to the accolade. And then afterwards,
game over. It's called now. Game over.
Accolade. Miro stares down Orange Cassidy after the match. So I'm sure next week we'll get some funny vignettes with Chuck doing laundry, washing dishes.
Yeah, but he only has to be his young boy for a month. That's what they said. I guess it's just he has to be Miro's young boy till Trent comes back.
I mean, it's not the 3 years that they get in the dojo, but that's a long time.
Anyway. After that, we had a private party Matt Hardy interview. Or I guess it's more of a promo. It's just the three of them. So Matt Hardy, he speaks first. Says they've joined. Prep Party have joined Matt Hardy brand. Things are going great. Cassidy says, yeah, it's show business. They don't call it friend business for a reason. Quinn says, yeah, they thought the best day of their lives was signing with AEW, but it just got better after signing with Matt Hardy. And then he's like, no, I can't do it anymore. It's third-party stuff, man. And Hardy says, yeah, you didn't read the fine print. That was your fault. Your first lesson. Don't worry about the money. And says, hey, you were nobodies before me. Nobody's going to care about you except me. I learned that firsthand at All Out. So you're going to do what I tell you to do.
He's already a disgruntled AEW employee, so he's sticking it to the other employees there. After that, we had the Inner Circle's New Year's resolutions. They all come out, do the Jericho theme song and everything. And they say, hey, it's it's a new year, time for a New Year's resolutions. And immediately Hager just started screaming at the top of his lungs, championships! Championships! He's overcompensating for his loss last week to Wardlow. He might be a little bit on the broken side. They cut to his close-up a couple times, and he just looked really dejected throughout the rest of it. Wardlow, cock of the walk.
Oh, man. Yeah, he just stood there like a statue.
Oh,
barely
full
budged.
of himself. Full of himself.
Yeah,
though.
man. MJF is next. He says, I just want to strengthen the bonds amongst my family here, the Inner Circle. He pauses a bit and says, also, fat people have to go.
Oh, my goodness.
Rude. Insanely rude.
So Ortiz gets on the mic. He says he wants to perfect, was it his aunt's recipes or his grandma's recipes?
I don't remember, but essentially he wants to become a better cook.
He wants to be a better cook, yeah. And then Jericho says him and MJF, right, are going to be tag champions. Yeah. And they both celebrate about that. And Santana's like, whoa, hold on a second, dude. You brought me and Ortiz in to be the premier tag team here. And then Sammy gets on the mic, and I'll take this bit. He calls Jericho a tag team slut. And they all just lose their shit over that. And they're like, wait, Jericho's like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, we were, what do they call them? The Spanish gods?
Les sex gods.
Yeah, Les sex gods. Yeah. He's like, you've already teamed with Hager. Now you're teaming with MJF. I saw you palling around with Snoop Dogg. You going to tag team with him? He's like, yeah, maybe. So Jericho is saying, listen, any one of us can team with the other and win gold. But I feel like just like Hager and Wardlow last week, we need to blow off some steam. We'll have a friendly exhibition. And so it's going to be like a 6-man deal with a triple threat tag team
triple threat. It's MJF and Jericho, Santana Ortiz, and then Sammy and Jake Hager.
Yeah. He said, me, Sammy and Hager. Sammy and Hager. And Jericho laughs and he's like, your name's going to be Sammy Hager? And he was like, yeah, why? What's funny about that? Don't worry about it. That was a good bit. Yeah, that was a good bit.
That was pretty funny. That's probably something Jericho wanted to put in there. So MJF says, yeah, after the match, we'll throw down, but we're still family. Nothing can break them up. And he's like, hey, throw them in. They all put their middle fingers in. They're the Inner Circle. They're better than you, and you know it.
And Santana noticed. Did he say MJF's hand was darker than his face? He said, "Don't worry about that. Put your hand in there." That was funny stuff. I have really enjoyed the chemistry that MJF and Wardlow have brought to the Inner Circle. It's mixed it up really, really well.
Yeah, it's changed the dynamic up in an interesting way.
It has, and it's not overbearing. They're just letting it ride. They're getting all the good entertainment value they can out of it before whatever happens is going to happen.
And it's interesting to see that by and large, the Inner Circle segments with MJF generally have been much shorter than just MJF segments when he was solo.
And shorter than normal Inner Circle segments before he showed up too. And it's funny, he even referenced that this week. Like, it's because when they were doing the, I think it was the Hager stuff, he was like, okay guys, we're already running out of time here.
Yeah.
So
after that, Alex Marvez interview in the Dark Order. They're asked what's next. Uno says the Brody tribute show was important for them. Everything they do from now on will be in his name, but they're going to be better. Next week, they're going to team with Hangman Page. Page is just there. They bring him in. And John Silver is like, oh, Page, I love you so much. Reynolds was wondering, hey, when are you going to let us know that if you're joining the Dark Order? And Silver's like, yeah, do it after the match next week. And Page is like, all right, sure, I'll let you know after the match next week. He steps aside, and the Dark Order is just celebrating. And the camera winds out, and Page is still just standing right there.
Yeah. So
just sipping his drink.
He's got to decide now, man. Is he gonna break their hearts or what? He has to, right? Or maybe he tries it out for a couple months. He's on a journey.
He is on a journey.
He should give it a shot. Although I think it'd be funny.
Champion.
I think it'd be fun. Yeah, true. I think it'd be funny if he said no, and then John Silver goes into his Brody Lee. I mean, you can't say most of that stuff on TV, but whenever he does the voice, it's absolutely hilarious.
I know.
It's so funny.
After that, we had a really good Darby Allin Brian Cage video package. That was pretty solid.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it was good.
Then we had the interview with the Elite, which I mentioned earlier. Callis is talking about how Kenny's back with his best friends. They're all champs now. Oh, it's Kenny, sorry, that wants to do the Elite entrance. And Don is like, nah, Young Bucks are tag champs. I love their music. Let them have their own entrance. So Kenny and Don come out first. Don grabs the mic, says it's history tonight. The band is back together. So without further ado, here's Kenny Omega's best friends. Here's the Good Brothers.
The Devil Days.
They didn't play that. Gallows and Anderson come to the ring. They cut backstage. Young Bucks are watching on a monitor with Tony Khan. They're fuming. As Doc and Carl hit the ring, they're taking on the Varsity Blondes, Danny Limelight.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
More competitive match in a lot of respects you probably expect.
Yeah. Well, it was Danny Limelight's debut. He needed to have a good show.
On Dynamite, yeah. I think he's been on Dark quite a bit.
Yeah, right. Whenever I say debut, understand that I'm talking about Dynamite because I don't watch Dark. I should. It's so long. It's too many
debut
matches.
For Steve.
The debut, it was a debut in front of me. Like you said, a bit more competitive than you'd think it would be, but in the end, the Super Elite win. Gallows and Anderson got the win, right? With the
Magic Killer on Danny Limelight. Afterwards, Moxie comes out through the venue in the stands, walks towards the ring, goes right after Kenny. Good Brothers kind of peel him off. They overwhelm him with the numbers. Phoenix and Pentagon come out to make the save. Them and the Good Brothers brawl the floor. Kenny and Mox are thrown down inside. It's kind of broken up by people from the locker room.
Mox
hits a paradigm shift on one of them. And then by that point, Kenny's outside. Mox hits a suicide dive on him. And then the Young Bucks come down when Mox gets back in the ring to say, hey, calm down. Let's calm this whole thing down. Lucha Brothers come back in. They super kick the Young Bucks. And they start throwing down again with the Good Brothers. And then while this chaos is happening, like Jerry Lynn, AEW officials, Brandon Cutler come down, try to break things up. Kenny and Don Callis take their leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of like that because they leave like a riot's been started. And there's just this look on Kenny's face like, oh, look at this stuff that I've started. Mm-hmm. After that, we had the Dynamite debut. This, of course, had been on Dark. I knew mm-hmm. that. Of the waiting room with Britt Baker. She's introduced, of course, by Reba. And she does a little monologue bit, introduces Cody, refers to his neck tattoo as a bad idea, brings him out, does the bit where she doesn't really let him get a word in, congratulates him on the baby. And then before he can really say anything, she says she has another surprise, Jade Cargill. So she comes out. I didn't realize just how tall Jade Cargill is.
Oh, yeah. She's super tall, man.
She's like built, too.
She's basically Cody's height.
I'm assuming she was having some sort of taller shoes on. But with those on, she was a good 4 inches taller than him. Like, she was tall.
Yeah.
So anyways, she talks shit to Cody about Brandy, says Brandy, it's a good thing Brandy's lucky that you got her knocked up. Brandy ever comes back, I'm going to beat her ass. Pie faces Cody. And then, Cody obviously can't do nothing. So Red Velvet comes through. She gets in her face. Big brawl breaks out. Everybody's going at it. And then, like you said, they just sort of all of a sudden the video of her attacking Britt, attacking Thunder Rosa, just plays on the Tron, and Britt's all into it. She's like, yeah, play that. That's great. And then you get Thunder Rosa saying that in her little Matt chat question, saying, I talked to Tony. He knows that a match between you and me is going to be big, big business. So at Beach Break, you and I are going to have a match. And then Britt's like, oh, my God, no, that can't be. And then all of a sudden, to make it official, the match pops up on the Tron.
Yeah, because Britt's saying
that
Tony
can't
says,
be changed.
Tony Khan said I didn't have to have the match, but sure enough, the graphic pops up, so the match is official.
Yeah, yep.
Totally. After that, we had Jurassic Express members, Jungle Boy, Marco Stunt taking on FTR. The story of this was all about FTR trying as much as they can to isolate Marco Stunt. Him fighting out of that situation, getting to tag the Jungle Boy, who will go on a run, only to tag Marco back in, repeat. In the end, Marco was the one to eat the pin after a big rig from FTR. Totally got involved at one point. Fun match, though. It was really fun.
Is Marco going to get any sort of win out of this? I mean, that's sort of the story they set up. I mean, maybe he can get, I was thinking maybe he can get a singles win over one of the FTR guys because they don't really care. I wouldn't think they would care about their singles record. Maybe he can get a sneaky win, but I feel like you got to pay this off somehow for the guy. Yeah,
you'd think so. Well, I mean, they're booking for the future. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe it'd be a situation of it'd be Marco and Luchasaurus say tagging, and Luchasaurus tail whips somebody or hits some other move on him, and Marco comes in to get the roll up on him or something. I don't know.
I mean, they were hanging with them until, obviously there was that stuff at the end, the wonky stuff at the end. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking maybe Marco can get like a singles win over one of those guys with the help of his buddies. I don't know, something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
After that, we had NWA Women's Championship defense. Serena Deeb taking on Ty Conti. This is a really fun match. This is a pretty long match, too.
This was really fun. It was it was a hell of a showing for Ty Conti. This is the best match she's maybe had to date.
Dude, she has come along really nicely with her in-ring stuff. I've been really impressed. Of course, you're in there with Serena Deeb. She's pretty terrific herself. Guiding the match, I would assume.
Yeah, but I mean, like Serena, she's got a very technical style, and especially early in the match, Ty Conti was holding her own.
That's the kind of stuff that really, to me, impresses me the most whenever I see that kind of stuff in pro wrestling, because I'm like, how do they even know?
It's the back and forth technical stuff where you try for hold, reverse. I know, I love that kind of stuff.
I have no idea how they would do them. It's like yeah.
Like I understand when you say, all right, we're gonna go from this spot to this spot, but like how do you when you lay out an extended technical aspect, you say I'm gonna do this into this into this and this, or do you just go in there and just like roll with it? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you not look completely ridiculous if you just say roll with it? I'm like, what?
I know.
But then we're not trained wrestlers.
You gotta know your stuff.
It's part of the magic of pro wrestling, Larson.
I know. That's the one thing that's still a bit of a mystery. And like we've seen a couple things. I know Rolling Stone had a video up where the Young Bucks were talking to, I think, Lij at a Ring of Honor show about laying out the match.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and even that was really brief.
It was, and it was kind of like what you were talking about, though. I mean, I'm sure there's answers to all these questions, but I like being, in the I like protecting the business from myself sometimes. So no, it's crazy because there's obviously a bit of a language barrier there. But they were talking about the universal language of pro wrestling. And so you see Matt and he's like, and then I do this and then you do this over here and then bang, boom. And it's like, whoa, wait a second. How are you remembering any of this stuff? And I know people call stuff in the ring and they're like, okay,
I know.
Now do this now.
I know. That's what boggles my mind is you have a 25, 30-minute match that you lay out backstage and you have to remember every single beat.
Right? I know.
I mean, like if you have like a tag match, there's 4 people that can remember bits. So if you get lost, you can refer to somebody else, I guess. But a one-on-one match, like if you get lost,
it's still insane to me that Stone Cold Steve Austin's very first match, he went into it not understanding that pro wrestling is fake. The fact when he tells that story, I'm always like, how? What?
Crazy, huh?
That is insane to me.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, did Undertaker say when he started training, he thought it was all real too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Anyways, this was a really fun match. In the end, Serena Deeb got the win with her finisher Detox. But yes, there's a whole lot of great, just technical back and forth throughout. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
So,
Really
Canadian Mountain Man here says any chain wrestling I did was improv. Yeah, we gotta talk to Cal about that stuff.
Yeah. Because if that's the
Cal,
case, I mean,
text
you
us, Cal.
really got to know your stuff then for that to be
I
that
know,
smooth.
I know. Like, I mean, I would imagine that's where, if you have an amateur wrestling background, like our friend Cal does, that would probably help you.
You can lean on that pretty heavily. Yeah.
I would think so, yeah.
Because I think Ty Conti, judo?
Wasn't she like a legitimate, was it judo? That sounds right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So she knows how, she knows her throws and stuff. So, which is, she utilizes pretty extensively in her arsenal of moves. So she has some technical training. So, but yeah, this is really good, really good. Serena Deeb picks up the win, retains that title, but it's definitely a match worth checking out. It was really good. Yeah. Match is announced next week. Inner Circle, their tag team challenge, triple threat tag match. We got Top Flight, Matt Sydal taking on Private Party and Matt Hardy. Hangman Page and the Dark Order versus TH2 Chaos Project, this 8-man tag match. Nyla Rose versus Layla Hirsch, and then Mox will be in action.
Nice. Who's Mox gonna fight?
Danny Limelight. All right, so was main event and all the crazy spots that Darby Allin did, how beat up he was.
He was very beat up.
He was insanely beat up.
So he comes out strong, ends up getting Cage on the outside, hits a suicide dive into Cage in the barricade, tries for another suicide dive, but Cage catches him into suplex position, which always really impressed me. So at one point, the first big spot, I think, was when Cage just threw Darby Allin out of the ring and threw that
timekeeper table.
The timekeeper table, yeah. And so I think at that point it was busted open.
Yeah, he press slammed him and tossed him the entire length or width of the mats on the floor. I don't know how wide those are. All the way to the timekeeper table. It was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Darby's busted open. And then Cage just starts throwing him all around.
Beating
all
the
around
crap
the ring.
out of him.
Yeah, he was beating the hell out of him. At one point, Cage charges. Darby gets booed up. This doesn't do much because he eats an F5. Darby kicks out at 1. Then Cage hits a trio of power bombs.
And I love Taz on commentary for this because obviously this is Team Taz. And so when he kicks out him, he's like, whoa, wait a second. He just kick out a 1? And he's not even vocal, overly vocal about it. He's sort of very subtle. He said, wait, he just kick out a 1?
Yeah.
And you hear this concern in his voice,
Yeah. He doesn't harp on things. He just, So F5, kick out at 1. Cage hits a trio of nasty power bombs. Darby just gives him the finger.
Yeah.
Cage then power bombs Darby out of the ring onto the stage.
Yeah.
Again, Darby flips him off. Cage deadlift suplexes him off the second rope. Again, Darby kicks out at 1. So Brian Cage goes on the floor, moves the ring steps that are kind of up against the stage, kind of in the middle, center, kind of center relative to the ring. Pulls Darby out in the apron, puts him on his shoulders, maybe going for another F5. Darby escapes into the ring, hits a drop kick. Cage is holding on the rope with one hand. Darby bites him in the hand. Cage crashes to the steps, and then Darby falls with a coffin drop off the second turnbuckle onto Cage, onto the ring steps.
Yeah.
So Darby, we're back in the ring. Darby's looking for a springboard coffin drop off the second rope. Cage catches him. Darby bites his way free again, hits the stunner, has a belt, ties it around Cage's ankles. Cage just kind of tosses him off anyways, frees his feet. Darby hits him with Code Red, gets a 2, and then Darby hits a shotgun drop kick, kicks out, but the strength of the kicks out pushes Darby up to the top rope. He hits a double stomp, gets another 2 count. So then Darby goes up to the top rope. Starks sweeps his legs out front of him, crotches him on the top turnbuckle. Lights go down, come up. It's Sting.
It's Sting, man.
He pretty much does the thing where he taps Starks on the shoulder, hits him in the throat with the bat, hits him in the gut with it. And then Brian Cage is trying to do something off the second rope. Darby reverses it into a crucifix bomb to get the win.
Yeah. It was good. It was really good stuff.
It was a really fun match, and the show ends with another stare down between Darby and Sting and Team Taz. Could that be Sting's first cinematic match? He and Darby teaming up to take on Team Taz in some sort of cinematic battle.
It'd be fun if Darby had a creative hand in that, given that he has a history and he makes his little student film things. R. Lopez Ortiz here in chat points out the bat swings from Sting were really crisp. They were. He knows how to work those. And of course, it doesn't hurt that Starks is out there selling like $1 million.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and answer some questions. I have a thread right here on the Patreon at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. $1 gets you access to asking us questions there.
Yes. Let's see what we got here. R. Lopez Ortiz says FTR renaming their finish The Big Rig was awesome. That is very cool.
Yeah.
Patrick Oliva speculates that Ty Conti and Serena Deeb probably worked together a bunch when they were both at Performance Center. They mentioned that.
Right. Yeah.
JR mentioned it, tried to mention it without saying NXT.
How did he phrase it? Do you remember?
Something like Deeb was a coach at where Ty Conti trained or something like that.
Oh, Deeb was a coach of that bullshit. Another bullshit promotion. I don't even DVR it. Jaime Fonseca says, who's an unlikely cover star for the new AEW game?
Orange Cassidy.
An unlikely one. That's an unlikely. Yeah, he's just a dude with denim and glass. Yeah, I would like to see, but it's very unlikely. The duo of Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone.
All right, that's good. Do it like a lenticular thing. They move the cover. It's Tony Khan talking crap. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Jorge D with some bits says, what problem or situation did TV or movies make you think would be common, but when you grew up you found out it wasn't?
What
problem or situation did TV or movies make you think would be common, but when you grew up you found out it wasn't?
Okay, so I never really was like this, but I totally get how fucked up TV and movies have probably washed the brains when it comes to romantic situations. Like the idea that persistence when pursuing a romantic interest is like a virtue, that's terrible. That is awful. If somebody doesn't like you, any amount of badgering and like trying to beat down their will, that doesn't work. That stuff doesn't happen in real life. That's called stalking. But yeah, I mean, I think most people probably learn that, but I think some people don't, and they're like, oh well, the movies say, the nerdy guy always gets the girl if it's just persistent.
That's a good answer. Gary MacArthur says a nerd dropping a pile of papers and nobody helping, thus turning them into a villain.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Good. That happened in Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Die Hard Homer, who has the pandemic helped and hurt the most from AEW? I mean, it hurt anybody who couldn't travel.
I mean, there was that period of time, like when they would go to the school to do stuff, and like half the roster wasn't there. I don't know. I mean, you look at all the pieces in place right now. I don't know that anybody got the short shrift. I really don't. I don't know if that's really happened.
Pac was gone for 8 months, right when they were starting the Death
that's a good one.
Thing.
No, that's a really good one. Yeah,
like the travel restrictions, obviously influenced some of their booking. Like they really wanted to debut Brody in Rochester.
Yeah, but that ended up, fine for his career.
Ryan's Rubik's Cube has a good question. When winter is over, will Sting continue to bring the snow with his rival? If not, what other weather or elements influence should he bring through the year?
What a great question. Here's what they do. When summertime comes around, you transition him to Surfer Sting. When the fall comes, make him.
No, the summer thing's good. You could shoot like a sunscreen app. Yeah. In the spring, it's going to suck for a lot of people. You got to spray pollen everywhere because that's what spring is about. Is kicking those allergies in the height.
That's terrible. That's a terrible idea.
It is a terrible idea, but if you're sticking with the seasonal thing, that's what you got to do. Summer, sunscreen everywhere. That's fine. In the winter, it's leaves.
Leaves, yeah.
Leaves.
Well, in the
They
fall,
shoot
in the
leaves
fall you
everywhere.
mean, yeah.
Sorry,
Winter,
fall, yeah.
snow,
Leaves
falls,
everywhere.
Leaves.
Yes.
Pollen. Ugh.
Yeah, it's terrible. What you got to do, though.
Can it be like sunflowers or something nice? Spring, the flowers are in bloom.
Okay, but with that comes pollen.
Pollen.
Still. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
You're high because I'm dope. Asks, I love these finisher names. What would your guys' tag team finisher be called? So we'd be the Shit Twins. That's our tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be called with the Dump Out.
The doo-doo blackout. Oh, they just hit the doo-doo blackout.
There you go.
And it's like a stunner, but like each of us, like it's like a 2-man stunner, like dudes to my right, dudes to your left, and like our arms are crossed like this on it. We each have his head here.
How about this? We do it this way, where you can have the head, and I'll have the feet on my shoulders.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a magic killer.
It's kind of like a magic killer. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. That's good. Let's see here.
Or how about this? You know how FTR, Big Rig Shatter Machine?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Cash usually. Oh no, it's Dawson, or sorry, Dax Harwood that lifts him up, and then Cash does like the code breaker thing.
Yeah.
I lift him up, bang into a stunner.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I like that a lot. And then somebody does a leg drop. Let's see here.
Followed by a power bomb.
What does this mean? Jaime Fonseca. Is it Jamie or Jaime? Says, hope you all are ready for Tony Khan to give you a call when that game comes out.
Oh, maybe if they do press for it, maybe.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I want to go
that'd
do
be awesome.
The testing thing like we used to do before we
that'd
got
be
blacklisted from WWE stuff.
That'd be great. Dangam Q says, I used to hate Gallows and Anderson's Impact theme at first, but now I love it. What wrestling theme did you hate it at the start, but now love?
Oh.
Undisputed Era. First time I heard that, I was like, oh, that's like an NWO ripoff. Love it. Love it now.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. I don't remember if I hated it though. I mean, I've flip-flopped on so many things. Okay, so I'm not gonna say I ever hated it. I always thought it was a really cheesy song, and it is a really cheesy song. But I get Judas stuck in my head so often these days. Like the entire second hour of Dynamite, it's stuck in my head.
Yeah.
I like Judas now. I think it's a solid song.
Shane's birthday tweet: will Jade ever get out of this thing with Cody and will Jade ever get out of this thing? I guess with Cody and Brandy storyline. Will she ever get out of it, or will she get anything out of it? I'm not sure what the question is, but we can answer both of them.
Yes and yes. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, Red Velvet is not a great substitute for Brandy, but it is what it is. They had to put somebody in there, so that's fine. I don't know. Obviously, they had far different plans, and then Brandy got pregnant. So I don't know how that's going to play out. David Matushek, how long do you think the AEW Impact relationship should last after Hard to Kill? I think it should go another. I mean, I don't think it doesn't. It really doesn't seem like Kenny's going to do the belt collecting thing, because if they're doing Rich Swann versus Moose, I think Impact is just doing their thing.
Could be.
And it doesn't. I don't get the feeling. I don't know if they'd be doing that right now. I think Rich Swann would be a lot more involved with the Kenny stuff, and not have Moose coming after him. And so I just don't know if Kenny's going to get that title if Moose is going to, if they're doing this right now.
I mean, here's another thing. So Moose has got his title shot. Kenny works his way in there, makes it a triple threat. He pins Rich Swann to win the title, and then bang, instantly Moose has a bone to pick with Kenny about not being champion, motivating a match with them down the line.
I think it'd be really cool. I just wonder how they would figure out to get,
No, I know.
Without anybody looking bad. I mean, I'd love them. I'd love to do it. And I mean, Tony Khan has been all about doing things that you kind of don't expect. And so that's something I don't expect, but it's something that I think would be really interesting I mean, that's such a weird heel versus heel dynamic with Kenny and Moose. I'd be interested in seeing it. I don't know yet that Impact is going to want to give their championship over to an AEW guy.
Yeah, for sure. Gareth, if Eddie Kingston went to NXT instead of AEW, who would he be feuding with? Would he be in a group or solo?
Kingston and NXT?
Yeah.
Let's assume, obviously, let's assume he's not just a coach.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, dude, the NXT has Malcolm Bivens on their roster, and they basically don't use him. I know now he's finally managing the Rust guy, but and he was gonna manage Indus Sher, but I didn't, even in the few bits that I saw him with Indus Sher, I didn't really see them using him to his best. I hope that they're gonna do that with Rust.
It seems like with both Indus Sher and thus far with Tyler Rust, it seems like they're taking a more serious approach with.
I know.
With him, he's such a funny dude.
I know, and I just don't know. Like, he could be the next Heenan. He could legitimately be the next Heenan. I don't know what they're doing with that.
Joe Juarez, power rank settings for a Sting cinematic match. The rafters.
Like some sort of snow adventure land. Winter Wonderland, Winter Wonder Slam.
That's gonna be hard to find in Florida.
Yeah, right. You go. Where do they film The Mandalorian? Probably L.A. Where do they have that giant green screen thing?
Well, you could hypothetically have that anywhere.
Just use that.
That's the nature of green screen. You could bring the green screen with you anywhere to shoot.
Well, it's that giant. It's that huge giant. Did you ever watch the behind the scenes thing on that?
No, I just actually finished watching the second season. I haven't seen the behind the scenes thing yet.
Well, I just saw it was like on a YouTube video or something, but it's a really huge green screen. It's not actually even a green screen. It's like a projection screen. Let's see here. It's Duker Baby says, is it just me or has Rusev aged backwards throughout his entire career?
He is in phenomenal shape.
None of that pesky wellness policy stuff.
He doesn't phenomenal shape.
He doesn't have the bleach blonde anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. He's in great shape right now.
Dun, 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 dun. He is in phenomenal shape.
Flats, AEW Revolution is right around the corner. What's one non-title match you'd like to see?
Non-title match. Let's take the Sting thing out of the equation because it's a Sting cinematic match. Revolution is still a month away.
I would say Britt versus Thunder Rosa. Maybe they'll have a rematch and they'll have a long finish at Beach Break. But I'd be really interested to see that.
I don't think they're gonna go here, but I'd love to see Gallows and Anderson against like FTR. Well, I don't know. You probably already saw that in WWE. I don't know, against somebody we haven't seen that before against.
Yeah. Well, they do some sort of champion versus champion, them versus the Young Bucks, but no actual title is on the line.
Oh, that'd be cool.
There you go. Cool. That's the answer.
There you go. That's a good answer.
Favorite customer, what is the worst thing about AEW right now?
The worst thing about AEW?
Mm-hmm.
That the best thing about their women's division is NWA's women's division, because Serena Deeb basically feels like, we get Serena Deeb, really good Serena Deeb matches on the regular, which is great. Yeah. But, the division still doesn't.
Well, she does barely on TV.
Yeah. That's kind of an issue. Like they do,
that is an issue.
They have some talent they could use, and it just feels. Tonight was a step in the right direction, I guess. They had a women's match. They had the waiting room segment. They do need to flesh that out a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, hey, FTR shouldn't have been on TV, but FTR versus Jurassic Express, that's cool and all. Is it necessary when your women's division isn't really doing anything? You know what I mean? Like, there are things that probably could go away. The whole Matt Hardy private party thing, I'm not saying put Matt Hardy on Dark, but kind of feel like that it's a whole lot of nothing right now. You know, I like Private Party. I really do.
Yeah, they're really good.
You know, when you have, and I know AEW's thing is tag team wrestling, I get that. But like, some things you just have to cut so you can actually build up a division that doesn't get nearly enough time.
Dark Shadow Zake, do you think this build to the triple threat of Pac versus Kingston versus Lance will be a good payoff?
Yeah, if that's going to be the match, I like all those guys.
Yeah, I do too.
And I hope that is the match. But I also want to see Pac and Archer get on the same page because I think they could be a lot of fun together. The monolith. The monolith. Oh, bah, bah.
All the discordant choir stuff you want. Yes. From 2001 is that we're talking about?
Yeah, in my head it's a chorus, but you're right. It's just like
No, it is. It is voices. It is.
Oh, is it?
Voices doing it, yeah.
Okay. I thought it was just like a weird orchestral sound.
No, I'm pretty sure that's actually people singing. I could be wrong, though. I'm just trying to do something. Could we get a Matt Hardy versus Sting cinematic match in AEW?
Oh, yeah. I'd be down. Yeah, Sting cinematics all day long, man. Have a cinematics division. Why not?
Well, that'd be good. The cinematics title.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is great. Gregory Fiala. Is Matt Hardy the worst manager and father figure ever for what he does to Private Party? He's making a go at it. He's really trying to be the worst.
Yeah, he's trying his damnedest. Floppy Dodger. Do you think AEW are having too many special episodes? Winter is coming, Holiday Bash, 2 nights of New Year's Smash all recently, and soon Beach Break.
This was the first time that I think they didn't nail a themed episode. I feel like the main event of tonight should have been on last week's episode, and then you just get back to regular business this week. But I mean, dude, you can't say that the promotion's bad. Like, you know, they have these themed episodes. It's something to grasp onto.
Yeah.
Sure. This is a great question because of Inner Circle stuff. Dog Authority figure. Who has been Jericho's best tag team partner? And who has been his best rivalry?
Oh, his best tag team partner. Well,
let's keep
Jared's show, man.
Let's keep it to. I think it's Christian, but let's keep it to AEW. Because I mean, Sammy's right. He's teamed with Hager himself.
Sammy. And that's it so far, I think. In terms so
far. I wonder between those guys, and then now he's got MJF, and we'll find out what him and MJF will look like next week. Who do you think is the best partner for him? It should be Hager and Wardlow. If they want to secure those tag titles, you have LAX and Hager and Wardlow in your team.
I know.
That's huge. The Sammy Jericho stuff was really good.
It was. And Sammy provides a different dynamic than either his other two partners anyway, so.
Yeah.
Jorge D. Oh, did you guys hear the good news that Josh Matthews is finally gone? Did Impact do this to look better for the AEW audience? No, I don't think anything AEW or the thing with AEW had any influence on that.
I agree. Madison Rayne is leaving and Josh Matthews got promoted. So it seemed natural for them to do this. And if you have, I'm looking forward to D'Lo. I'm looking forward to these guys. I think
heck yeah, great. I'm really looking forward to D'Lo.
Let's see here. Sleazy Mo. Cody will inevitably win the tag titles one day. Who should be his partner? It's his brother.
Yep. Mr. Forbesy. What if Kenny wins the Impact title, making a true Universal title, and the TNA title becomes the true title on Impact?
Wait, what?
Well, eventually. What if Kenny wins the Impact title, making a true Universal title, and the TNA title becomes the top title in Impact?
That's not a terrible idea.
Like have Impact be a cross-promotional title?
I don't know that they would do that because it would kind of cuck out their own world title. But if Moose wins, what about this? If Moose wins the Impact Championship, but chucks it in the garbage and says this is the real championship, maybe he changes it somehow. Maybe
then Kenny goes fishing through the trash and gets that Impact title. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, collecting doesn't mean winning.
It's true.
I don't win the comic books that I collect.
Broken Wheelchair says Renee and Eddie talk about why he chose AEW on our latest podcast. I gotta check that out then.
Oh, interesting.
Back to the Universal title idea. Favorite customer says, could there be one shared top championship belt between multiple wrestling organizations? That'd be interesting.
That would be really interesting. You'd have to really be a smooth talker to get.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even if you were to try to bring New Japan in it. New Japan, AEW, Ring of Honor, and Impact.
NWA, too.
NWA, they're a thing, too. Let's see here. Moses opposes, speaking of which, should Deeb lose her title on AEW or wait until NWA has a show to boost those ratings?
I mean, it's NWA's title. She should probably lose it on NWA show.
I would think that their first big pay-per-view back with fans, she should defend it at least. I mean, I don't know about lose it, but yeah.
Rattleheaded, AEW needs their second network show so they can develop their women's division. Danny Jordan is ready to be a star.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that's you know, a plan. So I guess we'll see. Dog, next being the Elite, we'll have Kenny at Walmart buying up and collecting all the titles he can find. All right. Anyways, we'll answer some more questions for the Twitch chat in a little bit, but that's going to do it for us today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Come back tomorrow on the Twitch at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern for our NXT recap. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. Until next time. Talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.